Karen, great to see you.
Yeah.
I guess first of all, for the folks out there, for the few people out there who don't entirely understand what happened to you over at the Washington Post.
Mm.
First of all, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I've always been a big fan of yours. I've always appreciated what you brought to the Washington Post. I grew up in the D.C. area,
Mm.
and I mean, one of the problems that we have with newspapers and media in this country is we just don't have enough diverse viewpoints.
Mhm.
And the Washington Post had that in you. And I just wonder if you could lay out your thoughts on where you are right now and maybe explain a little bit what happened because you were pushed out essentially for what you said about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, and well, thank you so much. You actually, I think you were actually the first one to reach out.
Oh wow.
It actually, I'm still processing, but it's actually been, I have not been able to land a one-on-one on a major network.
No.
You're the first Substack one. I went on with Don Lemon. You guys have been the only ones seemingly brave enough
Wow.
to have me on. So I also just want to say thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. And
Yeah.
like, I think it's just sadly a sign of the times for mainstream media, not just in this moment and the culture of fear, I think, but also
Yes.
where the truth tellers are finding themselves having to go. But yeah, I can lay out, what I think, happened. And for those of maybe your listeners and followers who may not know me, I have had been at the Washington Post for 11 years. I started off as a fresh-faced digital producer in the opinion section under the late Fred Hyatt. So I
Mm.
started off actually my entire job at first was helping to build the social media accounts of
Wow.
the post opinion section. So I was brought on as a digital social media whiz. I was brought on to help the established columnists be better at their social media because I was pretty good at Twitter and I was good at expressing myself in Twitter, and that's how they found me and brought me into the Washington Post. So
Hmm.
um, to the extent that I actually helped craft. I think, if I remember correctly, I was helping to craft some early versions of a social media like guidelines for the opinion section. So yeah, many people, then I moved to being able to be the founding global opinions editor. So to be able to commission and hire writers from around the world to same thing, to express themselves. As you said, we needed more diversity, and that was clear. And sure, I brought some, but I was just only one person, and we realized, okay, we needed to bring many more people, not just domestically, but from around the world, to make our pages as broad and as diverse and as global as possible. So
Yeah.
that was my like next step, and founded that. And so many people may know me then for one of my global opinion writers, who was Jamal Khashoggi, um,
Yes.
the Saudi journalist where I hired, worked with for a year until he was brutally murdered in 2018 by the Saudi regime, and not just murdered, but dismembered. And to this day, we still
Mm.
don't know where his body is, honestly.
And the
So
Saudis have not been held accountable for that,
the
by the way,
Saudis
too.
have not been held accountable for that at
Yeah.
all. So I'm building all this up, and then I got to become a columnist in 2021. So yeah, that's been my path. I've been known to yeah, I cared so much about protecting people's rights to speak, even when I don't agree with them as an editor. That's my job, but my job is still to try to encourage robust debate, especially about debate that is uncomfortable. And this is actually something that Bezos himself, when he met with me,
Yeah.
came to the Washington Post and said, I want you guys to be provocative. I want you guys to
Mm.
be I want you guys to be swashbucklers.
Interesting.
And here we are today.
What happened to the swash? What happened to the buckle, Jeff Bezos? He's
Yeah.
just got in line and I'll say it, kowtowed with the rest of them.
Mm.
Maybe it's too fresh for you and you can't say it, but I'll say it. And anyway, please
It's
continue.
it's
I didn't
not
mean to
the
interrupt you.
same. It's not the same post. I'm still mourning what what it was, which was a place as imperfect still as the opinion section was under Fred Hyatt. Like, it was a place where we cared about human rights. Like, we cared
Mhm.
about using our platform, our power to highlight things and people that were uncomfortable, or just to highlight the marginalized voices, marginalized like perspectives, things that like people just don't want to hear.
Yes.
And that's how I think about diversity, is about, sometimes it means about viewpoints that people would rather keep quiet and throw under the rug. Yeah. So
Yes.
let's fast forward to, wow, a little over a week ago. And in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk shooting, me as a reporter, as a former reporter, and as a now columnist, or what's it called, as a columnist, I know I kick into a certain professional drive, right? When you have breaking news, a high emotional event, a highly violent event, a crime, a horrible murder, um, your instinct is to, like, okay, wait to the facts. We don't have all the facts. There's often a lot of misinformation, even
That's
coming
right.
from official sources. So refrain from speculating, refrain from, anything like that. So for me, that day, I was seeing the murder, and anyone can go back to my Blue Sky posts. They're all still up there. It's, I expressed like shock, actually.
Yes. Me too.
I was shocked, and that this was horrible, and without, I was seeing these horrible images of the actual shooting itself that
Yeah.
rocked me, actually. But my initial commentary for that reason to exercise restraint was not about Kirk himself. My first thought was about, God, America, like,
Yes.
guns again. The rhetoric,
Right.
the empty rhetoric that we have, like, thoughts and
Thoughts and
prayers,
prayers. Yeah.
political violence has no place here. This is not who we are. That sort of thing. I
Yes.
said it explicitly. Like, we keep telling ourselves these myths, and it's just not true. When you look, I grew up in Dallas. Dallas,
Wow.
home of the Kennedy assassination.
Assassination. I was just in Dallas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It loomed, the political violence is part of the fabric of this country. I'm not saying it should have a place,
It's
but
our history.
it's the history.
Yeah.
And my posts were just about that, and about that we have this rhetoric, these empty cliches, and we still do nothing.
Exactly.
Um, so, and of course, was it a response not just to the Charlie Kirk shooting, but also we had the shooting of children in Colorado that day? I was responding in my mind to both of these things.
Totally overlooked. Yep.
Completely, no one's talking about those kids.
Nobody's talking about that. And it was a white nationalist gunman or
Correct.
shooter. Yes.
So no one was talking about that, and I just had a post that said, America is sick. America is sick. It's, we're a country that worships violence while claiming to have these cliches, and then specifically, again, as a journalist and as someone who's, my task is to write about race. Um, I said that it's especially for white men who commit violence, who espouse hatred, that we have this social cultural reflex to coddle them, to shrug and move on, to sort of do the same old, you know uh like a bit of compassion for them, right?
Yeah.
And I was just solely noting that. And then I said, the only reference I made to Kirk was a characterization of his comments on black women, because I think we were already seeing the demands of excessive performative mourning, right?
Yeah.
And I just, again, in the service of exercising balance, I said I can and I do condemn violence without going into excessive mourning or emotionality about this person who has such a, to put it mildly, controversial background. I'm putting it very mildly, obviously.
Yes.
So I put
He
that
said
out. There was no
horribly
response.
unkind things about prominent Black women. I mean, let's just be very
Well,
straightforward about
prominent and normal Black women. He
it.
called
That's right.
Black women moronic. If I have a moronic Black woman on the
I
phone,
heard, yes,
um, talking about prowling Black men wanting to attack. So
Black pilots. Yeah,
he said all sorts of
yep,
anti-Black things. But so I said that on Blue Sky, and no response. No, I mean not no response. I got retweets and shares, but no backlash. No
yeah.
backlash. So I was just like, and I went about my day, and I went into the next day when I was training martial arts, and I finished training, and I see a call from a Washington Post number, and I missed it. I couldn't pick it up. And then literally a minute later, Jim, email comes, the subject line, notice of termination.
Wow, unreal. So they
Mm.
did the courtesy call, which didn't go through, and then they didn't even wait to talk to you. They just
No.
sent you that email. Unreal. Didn't even want to have a conversation about it after all
Mhm.
your years there.
For all my years there, after building an entire section to, you know, the successful section, putting my career and safety on the line to defend press freedom, to defend Jamal, and I was celebrated for it.
Yeah,
Got
I remember.
won the Post all sorts of awards for that,
Yeah. I
and
remember
then
reposting your work
yeah, I
because I
remember
was
you
so
did.
so happy that somebody just was trying to give a damn about Jamal Khashoggi. And that was when the Washington Post really was shining
Exactly.
during
I
that
missed that.
horrible moment. I know. And it's my hometown newspaper. I grew up in Fairfax County,
Mhm.
Virginia. So we got it on the doorstep every morning. My mom, who worked in restaurants, still read it cover to cover every day. And I grew up with a deep affection for the Washington Post. And it's absolutely terrible what's happened to that newspaper, but it's happening across the board with our media now, our corporate media. They've just completely failed us. The Jimmy Kimmel case is just the latest
Mhm.
example. And what's next for you, Karen?
Well, I am. I definitely still thinking about it. Like I said, you being the first to invite me on. I mean,
Wow.
I hope to see I hope to be free now, I guess.
Yes.
At the
Come on
same
Substack. Come on YouTube. Do
Yeah,
it.
I've got
You know.
Substack, and I have some few announcements to come, but
Good.
honestly, I think what I'd hope. Oh, and I also will be teaching. I'm
Good.
teaching
Good.
a class on race, media, and international affairs. So again,
Yeah.
clearly Washington Post, Columbia, these institutions are so afraid of teaching our history about race and media. I will be teaching
Unreal.
that
Good.
on October, so people can go to resistancesummerschool.com. There's still some time to sign up, and so they can learn from me from my lectures. So yeah, Jim, I guess I'm in my rogue radical professor era.
We
Um,
need more of them right now more than
yeah.
ever.
Yeah. So, and I hope to see a lot more people. You'll see a lot more of me on Substack,
Good.
for sure. So I'm happy
Good.
to join that community. You guys have been so supportive, and folks can watch out. I will be posting the exact reasons that the Washington Post fired me because there's a lot of misinformation. This has forced me to post my own termination letter, but I'm about to do it,
Okay.
so that people can see what that is actually. Unless you want me to give you a preview.
If you want to give us a preview, go ahead.
Let's just say, again, I was just doing my job, right?
Yeah.
They claimed that I disparaged disparaged Kirk on the basis of race because of my posts singling out white men. So basically, they're accusing me of being racist. Is
Mm.
how I'm interpreting it. Racist against white men. When I said specifically, I was talking about violent white men, but that's the precedent that they're setting with this. That are we in a country where we can't talk about, and
Correct.
not well, to describe, just as the DOJ, as the FBI has, when we talk about sort of domestic anti-government, domestic terror, mass shootings, it sadly
Right.
has been a certain demographic. Now they're saying that I can't say that.
Yeah. Well, and to me, I think it was a natural reaction for people to start questioning what Charlie Kirk had said while he was alive
Mm-hmm.
because of the way he was being lionized and held up as this champion for free speech and so on, which I just think misses the mark. I mean, he seemed to believe in a back and forth, I suppose, from time to time, but he also liked to grift off of outrage, clicky stuff as well. And he was a young man who I think was deeply misled by people like Trump and the people in that uh, inner circle, to the point that I think he became this person who just espoused all sorts of ugly viewpoints. And I think it's only natural to expect that people are going to use their First Amendment rights to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not, you guys are making Charlie Kirk out to be this over here. Actually, guys, he's a little bit of this over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that it's only natural that people were going to pour out their hearts and say what they thought. I mean, this was somebody who was being lionized after what he said about black women, prominent black women, black pilots. I mean, you name it. He was saying all sorts of things about Latinos. I mean, trans. I mean, everything under the sun.
Yeah, yeah,
And there were a lot of folks on the right who didn't like what he had to say after he got behind Trump on Jeffrey Epstein. So I mean, there was a lot to criticize.
right.
And Charlie Kirk, apparently, I mean, I'm not a big Charlie Kirk, a buff here or anything like that. I'm not hugely familiar with his work. I just saw him as like somebody on the right who said a lot of crazy things. But I mean, to my understanding is that he put out there his belief that people ought to have a free exchange of ideas,
Right. When
which
it's
is exactly what you were doing.
oh, yes, exactly. I don't think Charlie Kirk would have wanted me to be fired,
I
technically,
I, I
but
think that's correct.
we've seen how the right, especially. I mean, I think the New York Times has maybe on their Instagram. I saw something about how years ago, the right was saying everyone has the right to free speech because they felt that they weren't in power, and now that they're
Exactly.
in power,
Yep.
it's like lock them up, take away their jobs, destroy
This is
their
hate speech.
institutions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
so this is like, and I think Kirk, if it wasn't so dangerous, I guess, to talk about Kirk, it's actually fascinating because he also was a religious figure, huge Christianity. As there's so many people who have no idea what he said about Black people, no idea what he said about marginalized communities, because he was able to convince people because he's passionate about Christ and about living a
Hmm.
Christian life. And I
Yeah,
know of people who had no idea that he said these things, and they were like, "Oh, I just thought he was a Christian leader." So I think there's a lot that we have missed. I think a lot that
yeah,
the corporate media has missed about sort of he was so many different things to different people, which is why it's so
yeah.
difficult to really pin him down. And that's precisely because the internet keeps us siloed, yeah, or where
Yes.
people are
Sort of
able to.
choose your own
So
adventure. People can kind
yeah,
of do that with everything now. Yeah.
correct. So it's if it wasn't for, if it wasn't for the fact that I got fired for this is like a like perfect column subject that I would be
There you
pitching
go.
to the Washington Post. I guess I just got to put it on Substack now, but
And the people
it's
will come.
I hope so. I hope people. I've gotten so much support from everyone. Even even the last political piece I was allowed to write, as the last Black columnist. So now Washington D.C. has no Black staff columnists at the
Wow.
paper. In a form,
Unreal.
yeah, they did not care about that. I was the last staffer. The last political piece that I wrote that they allowed me to write, I guess, was a piece criticizing Barack Obama. Actually, it was a
How
piece
about that?
uh, criticizing people who go, "Where's Obama? He should speak and save us." I was like, well, and my piece was just saying, "Hey guys, like, let's actually look at his record." Um, we he
Interesting.
and so I did that, and his people reached out and they were like, "Yeah, we like your headline. That's funny. Emotional support president. That's funny. Haha." They're like, "But we have issues with this point, this point, this point."
Mm,
And I was like, "Okay, I disagree, but okay." But and it was simple. They're like, "Keep in touch," and
that's very cool.
now here he is in support of me, even though I
I
criticized
saw
him.
that.
you
That's
know,
true.
like, and I'm not one to stand celebrities or politicians, but it just is a reminder of how things used to be, should be. Instead of now, people are, it's almost like we have this, what's the word, major lest rules, where you're not allowed to criticize the kings and their, and Charlie Kirk is being made into, almost a Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just it's been such a whirlwind. Obviously, there's a lot for me to process with all of this, but I will say again, to thank you and the
Yeah.
actual brave ones, the actual journalists who are on
Oh,
independent media and still doing their thing. After, I guess we have a club now, huh?
yeah,
Getting
we do. I think we do. And it's okay. And I can't wait to see what you have to write. As they say, write what you know. And
Mm.
you know a lot now after this last week. But Karen, Attiah, it's great to catch up with you. Let's keep
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Yeah.
Let me know when you want to come on and talk about your latest piece, wherever
Okay.
you're publishing it. But all the best to you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your bravery. And I think a lot of people who are watching do as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
All right, good to see you.
All
That's
right.
Karen Attiah, formerly of the Washington Post, hopefully soon of Substack and of independent media. And folks, I'm just going to make this very quick because I got another flight to catch. But independent media is where it's at. It's where it's at right now, folks. Honestly, where else can you find voices like Karen's, who has been through a pretty major event in her life, a pretty big test and challenge in her life. And there was a viewer earlier who chimed in with a comment. We see the comments that maybe this is a blessing in disguise for Karen, and I think it is. I think it's a blessing in disguise for a lot of people who go through this sort of thing. It was a blessing in disguise for me to join this world of independent media. I get to tell it like it is. Um, as I was telling a group in Dallas, I used to tell both sides of the story. Now I get to tell my side, and damn it, I like it. But my thanks to Karen. Really appreciate her bravery and what she has done. My thanks to Steve Schmidt as well for joining me, and thanks to all of you for watching. I'm just going to let Karen's words sit there as perhaps the final thought of this week. Free speech matters. Our First Amendment matters. Free expression matters. So make sure you do some of that this weekend as well. Thanks everybody for watching. Still reporting today from Atlanta. I'm Jim Acosta. I'll see you next time.